If you've ever felt like you're checking off all of the boxes, staying productive, and still not making real progress, you're not alone. And in this video, I'm breaking down the three biggest shifts that have helped me become way more effective without relying on hacks, planners, or forcing productivity. And if you're either someone that's seeing me for the first time, or if you're someone that even knows me and every time you talk to me think, what the hell is this guy do again? Well, I'm Jesse Hoffman. I'm a mental performance coach, and I work with high performers and entrepreneurs on how to build mental clarity and the personal frameworks and routines to excel in their fields. Over the past decade, I've studied performance and organizational psychology, learning how the most successful people, athletes and business owners alike, actually get results that last. And so I'd like to think that what I'm about to share isn't theory, it's what's worked for me and what's worked for a lot of my clients. And so I'm confident it will do the same for you. So after studying what I've studied for so long, I've tended to have built a affinity towards productivity hacks and the newest tricks and tools. What I had found is through that continuous ideation and searching for new novel things and becoming so obsessed with how can I cram so many different things into this day and fill my day with all these sorts of random tasks, I began to feel quite burned out, busy for sure, and worst of all, just completely unfulfilled by how I was spending my time. I guess part of the reason why I'm making this video is I recently finished the book Slow Productivity by Cal Newport, and if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. And it really gave me the language to what I was experiencing and feeling drawn to as well, as far as how I should shift the way that I work. And I really do believe in what I've been reflecting on lately, which is emphasizing clarity over input. Most people right now, they're all chasing more tasks, not more meaningful progress. And the tricky part is not all tasks are created equal. And so for me, what I found was by actually cutting out and quote unquote neglecting 50% of my to-do list, I actually ended up moving the needle forward by finding those specific things that were most meaningful to me and that I felt contributed toward my ultimate goal. Within this, one of the biggest takeaways is that it's been really helpful to work at a natural pace. Now, if you watch my previous video, I talked a lot about the nervous system and how that affects us energy-wise. Well, imagine working at an unnatural pace, trying to cram as much into the day, always feeling like you're rushing, right? You have that slight increase in your heart rate. That cannot be helpful for us. And that prolonged stress across weeks and months of feeling like you have to cram so much into the day. Go watch my video on the effects of that. But just on the productivity side of things, being able to eliminate half of what I thought I needed to do and focus on the highest impact parts of my day has gave me so much clarity and freedom to work even more effectively in those tasks. And so for me, part of that is doing this, filming content, managing my editors and my team, and moving the needle forward to really deliver at a high level to my clients as well. And so a lot of those other small things that I thought were important, I reflect back and I realize, well, shit, now I haven't done them for the past however many months. And I'm feeling better than I was then. And so that brings me to shift number 2, which is having space to think means having space to lead. And if you're an entrepreneur, or even if you're a professional that wants to forge a path in your career and be a leader in your own right, this part is crucial. And so once I stopped filling every hour and I started protecting my space for the things that mattered most, I was able to really have that solitude, that freedom of thought to figure out ways where I wanted to improve all the other aspects of where I was spending my time. One of the things I actually also recently shared is there's a few different models or frameworks for deep work. And you can watch my reel, follow me on Instagram at Jesse H. Hoffman, where I talk about Cal Newport's 3 types of deep work. And those are a bimodal framework, a rhythmic framework, or a journalistic framework. What I've found is that when I'm able to leave unstructured time in my day, it might look like it's dead space, but it's a proactively ascribed empty space so that I have the freedom to make better decisions, to be more creative, and not try to jam pack everything into a day where, some of that logic and reasoning due to the increase in our sympathetic nervous system goes out the window. One mental framework that I remind myself of in that regard is prioritizing effectiveness over effort. How can I make sure that what I'm doing in the moment is as effective as possible within my natural pace, rather than feeling like I need to exert all this effort and get all this shit done? And that's really changed a lot for me lately. And the reason why brings me into number 3, which is tying everything to your vision and your values and who you are. Because one thing I notice is productivity starts to feel pretty damn empty when it's without direction. I started to get caught up in the trap of, okay, is what I'm doing right now, is this just contributing to a 6-week goal or a 6-month goal? Am I working towards something that, I'll feel good throughout that course of the week getting a bunch of shit done, but when I zoom out, I'll realize it really has a negligible impact on where I actually want to get to within 1 year. So having that vision, having that clarity around what's going to make you feel most fulfilled in retrospect, that's where I've begun to lead. So being able to anchor my tasks into longer term clarity rather than immediate momentum kind of forces me into the headspace of focusing on the process rather than immediate feedback. So momentum is incredibly important, right? That's why I just threw my first YouTube video up, right? And you probably watched for, I think, an average of 1 minute, 40 seconds and clicked on to the next, but that's okay because here I am again. And I know that over time, whether this video turns out to be absolute dog shit, I'm going to keep putting them out. I'm going to keep making them better. And that aligns with where I want to be as a creator, as an entrepreneur, and just as an individual, sharing my thoughts and almost using this as a journalistic way of getting it out there. So with that said, if you like anything of what I've said so far, please drop a like, maybe even a quick comment of what stood out, and of course subscribe. So where this ultimately brings me back to is leading through alignment and not by hustle, because endless hustle without clarity never leads to fulfillment. And so I've said before, you don't need to be doing more, you need to be doing what matters most. One thing I recently said to someone is working smart is harder than working hard when working hard isn't working smart. So one of my mottos moving forward based on these 3 shifts is the idea of alignment over hustle. And that's not to say that you shouldn't work hard at the things that you're clear on and in alignment with, but if working hard isn't paired with thoughtful action and intention, then you're going to burn out and you're going to regret why you busted your ass to get nowhere. You can feed into grind culture and pack your calendar full of all these different tasks to feel like you're building momentum when really you're just a hamster on a wheel. Or you can slow down in order to speed up and really figure out what's going to have the highest leverage and highest impact over you getting to your goals. So if you've made it this far, I would love to hear what's one productivity trap that you've found yourself caught up in. Comment it below and send this to anyone that you know will resonate with this message. Encourage them to subscribe or follow me on Instagram at Jesse H. Hoffman. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.